Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on the call again today and to join our how-to series. So today we're discussing how to raise your profile. And this is the third in the series so far. So the first one was around how to make your CV and interview, how to stand out at CV and interview. And the second one was how to develop some consultancy skills and add them to your CV. And today is about raising your profile. Now, raising your profile isn't about, being like, oh, I want everybody to know about me. It isn't that kind of like, big grandeur, but it's really about, starting to build your confidence and people knowing that you're a go-to person for Salesforce, that you know what you're talking about, whether that's in your own company, where you're working, particularly if you're the sole admin, you want people to trust you and to kind of have confidence in what you're doing. And so raising your profile as an expert is really important to get everybody to buy into you and to get that credibility. Whether you're working within a team and you want to become like the go-to person for people to go, oh, so-and-so is really good at this, you need to go and speak to them, because you know what? That makes you feel really good. It makes you feel really good when people know what you're good at and that they know to come to you. And it's really about building your confidence and self-esteem, building your credibility and expertise. And it's also thinking about networking as well, building your network outside of that and getting to know more people, just letting people know that you're involved in Salesforce and what you're doing. So I'm going to talk about all the different ways that you can start to build your profile within the Salesforce ecosystem, from the point of view that it will help you with your career, help you develop and get to know more people within the ecosystem, and start to, kind of build yourself up to that place where you might want to be a Salesforce MVP. And you're recognized for all the stuff that you do to give back to the community and share your knowledge and awareness. Or you might want to sort of build up. I mean, I was really lucky and privileged to get a golden hoodie from Salesforce in May, which was never an ambition as such. I didn't even know they really existed until I think earlier last year. But they recognised me for the work that I was doing to inspire more mums. And my biggest thing about, I've raised my profile because I've wanted to shout out to other mums and dads about a career that Salesforce can offer. That's been my point of view, is I've just wanted to help more people get into the sector and say, hey guys, there's some really great jobs here. Come and get involved, because we need more talent in this space. And so the reason I've raised my profile is really about helping others and getting more people into this sector. And so you can do it from a point of, you having a social purpose, you sort of wanting to build your confidence, and being recognized for what you do. Because also I think the other key thing is, if you're working as a sole admin or a sole Salesforce member in a team, nobody knows if you're doing a good job or not. So it's really hard to potentially get feedback from an immediate team or a manager who really doesn't really know whether you're doing a great job or not. And so going out to the wider ecosystem and getting that respect and reinforcement from them, makes you feel good and goes, okay, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. It's okay. So, all of these ideas that I've got for you today are things that you can take away and do. You definitely don't need to do everything. You can really start working through the areas and start to get involved in the Salesforce ecosystem. And I think that's the biggest thing that stands Salesforce out from other sort of software companies that I get told, is that Salesforce, the community, the Ohana, everybody helping each other, everybody celebrating each other's achievements, is really strong. And what I think I want to get you guys to think about is how get involved in that today. Get involved in helping celebrate other people's achievements and giving them a pat on the back, and they'll do it to you too. And that's all about what the Salesforce community is about. It's about telling people what you're doing, people giving you that high five, telling you that you're doing great, and it's really positive reinforcement. And that's what really spurs on this community. And you see that so much within the Salesforce culture within the company as well, and the staff that work there. It's very positive and reinforcing and developing. So I'm going to share some ideas with you today, as I say, for you to take away. We talked about why raise your profile. There's 5 reasons to really raise your profile, just as a sum up to what I've talked about as an intro. Is about building your credibility. Don't shy away from that. Be proud of it. And the reason I say this is, quite often will be brought into a company or a charity as a Salesforce consultant where there is a Salesforce admin. And that Salesforce admin says to me, we've had to bring you in because they don't listen to me. They don't listen to me. We need you to come in because you're seen as the experts. Now, how does that admin make them feel? They feel like, okay, they can't get people to turn around. They need to bring somebody else in because they'll listen to them. So as a sole admin, how do you build your credibility? How do you become that expert everybody listens to? So you don't need to bring in consultants, like you can become the internal consultant. How do we make that happen? And partly is that about, you building your credibility and confidence that you've got those skills, that you can develop the consultancy skills, that you can, be speaking at events and people go, oh, right, okay. We don't need external consultants because we've got you and you're great and we'll listen to you because we now believe that you know what you're doing. So we want to help you develop your confidence. Through raising your profile and the different ways to do it, you can master new skills. And over the last year, honestly, I've really pushed out my boundaries because I want to get our Supermums message out there. But I've started doing videos, started learning how to do podcasting, all this stuff that I'd never done before. And I've started to learn loads of new skills, thinking about writing, writing a book, all this stuff that I've been learning about and different ways of marketing has been fascinating. And I've really enjoyed the journey. It's really pushed me out of my comfort zone with some of it. But do it. It's great. If you want to start building out there and building your profile and getting to know people, then taking on some of these new things and challenging yourself is really good. Ultimately, you're going to inspire others. If you get a new certification, people go, oh well, they've done it, okay, I better go and do mine now. You're going to inspire others. So don't feel like you're sort of singing your own praises, if you like. Think about it from a mindset of like, oh, I've just done my service cloud cert. Isn't that brilliant? Everybody likes it. That gives you that little bit of recognition. But also, you're going to inspire a load of other people to go and do it now because they're like, oh God, I so need to go and do that too. And that's how I feel. Like when I see people get new certs, I'm like, oh gosh, I really just got to kick myself into gear and go do, that next cert that I've been meaning to do. You will inspire others. So don't feel bad about singing your praises, right? You are really helping others. And as I talked about, sort of gain recognition, everybody sort of liking your post on Twitter or social media gives you a little bit of a, oh, hey, they recognized I've done that. And it tells people what you're doing. Do that because, as I say, if you're in a workplace where you don't get that from your colleagues, you can. If you're working within a Salesforce consultancy, then you're definitely going to have a little bit more recognition for that. But, sort of look after yourself. Make sure that you are gaining all of these things and developing your profile. And just to reiterate the key benefits here, you will become the trusted expert if people see that you're getting your certs or you're writing about things or you're speaking. It will build your self-esteem, and it's so important to work on this every day. I'm just on a coaching program at the moment, and it's all about this. It's about having a journal every day where you're writing about what is it that you're doing well, and what's your success for the day. And it's about building your self-esteem. You've got to keep believing yourself. And the more that you do, the more you comment on something and people like it, or you're helping people, you're going to keep building your self-esteem. And that's really important. It might be about fulfilling that purpose that you have. So whether you've got a social purpose to help others or share your knowledge or inspire people, think about, well, how will raising my profile help me fulfill the purpose that I enjoy? And do I enjoy helping others to grow? And whether that's just posting your cert out there or whether it's writing an article about something that you think will be useful to somebody else, you're helping others to grow. And finally, it can definitely help you progress your career and salary. And I think, coming from the viewpoint of that, I'm probably going to have men and women listening to this webinar, which is great. But also I've got a real passion about helping profile more women into tech and help addressing like the gender pay gap. So, for any of you, if you're raising your profile and sort of starting to build up the things that I'm going to go through today, it's definitely going to help you stand out in your CV and an interview, and it's going to help you progress your career ultimately, because you'll be seen as somebody that adds a lot of value back into the ecosystem. So let's have a think about, what do you want to say? if you're raising a profile, what is it that you want to be known for, or what is it that you feel confident talking about? And the first thing we talk about here is your passion. So is there something you're really passionate about? Now, that passion might be something really small, like you might have got super excited about duplicate rules. And the reason I bring up this as an example, because in the Salesforce Ben blog over the weekend, there was things about the 5 duplicate rules you must know. So somebody's got really passionate about duplicate rules and decided to submit a blog about that to Salesforce Ben to have on his website. So it might be something super that you're passionate about that day, like, oh my God, I've just come across this and this is so useful, like I've got to tell other people about it. Could just be a blog around something that small, or it could be something like quite big, like I'm passionate personally about helping more mums get into the Salesforce space. That's a big passion, right? And it's obviously a big agenda that I've got. But what is it you're passionate about today and you want to share? And that might not be one big agenda. You might have different things every day. You're like, oh, you know what? I've got to tell everybody about this. Just to sort of take that to the next stage, it's like, what is your story? Have you got a story that you want to share with people? So it might be about how you changed career and got into the sector, or it might be about your customer success story, like, at your organization, you had all of these problems and then you implemented Salesforce, and these were all the benefits and outcomes we got from it. So I've kind of put a few extra boxes on here around, a story could be like, what were the pain points? What was the need that you had? What was the knowledge that you learned on that journey, or knowledge you put into this project? What was the learning you had, and what were the outcomes of that journey, negative and positive outcomes? What did you learn, and what have been the benefits that you've seen? So your story can be a journey from start to finish. And that story, again, could be quite small. Like it could be like, oh, well, we had serious issues with data cleanliness in our system. So this is, what the pains we experienced, and this is what we did. We entered some validation rules and we put in duplicate management. This is what we learned about it, and these have been the outcomes. Like our data integrity is like 80% better than what it was, or whatever the story is. Or the story could be quite big. It could be like, I'm working at this big organization, and overarchingly these were the problems. This is all the solutions we've implemented, like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Pardot, and these are the learning and the outcomes we've had. So it's about that customer success journey. So think about what your story is, and it doesn't mean that you have to stick with the same passion and theme all the way through, unless you want to be, you might decide you want to be the go-to person for Pardot, and that's where you want to specialize and develop a profile, or Service Cloud. Or it might be that big picture. It could be about everything. So, have a think about, what are you really passionate about? It might be that you're just an admin and you want to pick up different bits and bobs and talk about different scenarios at different times. Or it might be that you really want to focus and channel your career in a certain area. Now, what are the 5 ways that you can raise your profile? And I'm sure there's more, but this was my initial brain dump last night, is conversations. And I'll talk about what that means in a minute. Presentations, i.e. speaking at events, social media, and really, starting to raise your profile on different ways in social media. You could love writing, and different ways that you could write. And the final one is networking, and starting to build up your network in the ecosystem. So there's definitely overlaps with some of these, but they're distinct ways that you can go about it. And really it is about, which ones is it that you want to develop, and focus on, that feel manageable right now, and then you might evolve into others. So let's start the conversation with conversations, funnily enough. So conversations. So when I talk about conversations, what I mean is that you might be commenting on posts within the Trailblazer and Power of Us groups, for example. So people posting there all the time. It's one of the biggest sort of ecosystem forums out there. It's very much championed that you can get an answer within minutes from people. So be one of those people that perhaps like helping people through commenting on posts and being part of some Trailblazer groups. Actively posting there yourself if you want to kickstart those conversations. And so, be a part of the conversation. People will start to see that you contribute, and then you start getting scores for how much you contribute. So people that are very active, and you can see they all can contribute towards like MVP status as well, that they can see that you're contributing actively within the community. So, if that feels manageable and something that you'd enjoy doing, start getting involved in those groups. You might also get involved in user group discussions. So again, you can join one of the Trailblazer user groups, and you can start being part of that. And you can also comment on social media activities as well. So if people are posting, Twitter's very hot for Salesforce type comments. So if you follow hashtags like Salesforce, for example, you could comment on posts there. And if there's blogs, if you follow various blogs, like Salesforce Spend is obviously a well-known blog, but there's 10 other different sort of very top blogs that actually Salesforce Spend did a post around the top 10 blogs. So I'll put that in the Facebook group again, our Supermums Facebook group. If you want to join there, you can do. And we can just flag those again. But there's lots of blogs out there that have been written by Salesforce MVPs. I'll show you where to find the Salesforce MVPs in a minute. Or there might be media things in the press around Salesforce, but comment on them. Start to get yourself known. LinkedIn, if people have written an article on LinkedIn, comment on that as well. Start to just be part of the conversation and build up your profile. The second is around presentations. So this is where you could go and speak at physical or virtual events about a topic that you're most interested in. Now, at Salesforce events that come up, you can submit a presentation, or at Dreamforce, you can submit something. So you might want to, think about topics that might be of interest. Don't think that you have nothing to share that would be valuable. Honestly, that would just be a blockage. Put something in that you feel you have a story to tell. Now, that could be that journey you've been on as an organization, or it might be about managing data integrity. Have a look at the types of topics that are featuring at Dreamforce right now. Start to look at all of those and start to think, well, actually, okay, well, I could write a topic about this or that, or you could put a slightly different slant on it. So start to sort of think and have a look at what type of speaker slots there are. Apply to speak at community events like London Calling, for example, or other local or international ones that are going on. So maybe start small. So the different user groups that happen, there tend to be a lot more smaller audience, 20, 30 people. Apply to speak at one of those user groups about a topic that's of interest. They're always looking for speakers. So don't think that your presentation is not something of value. And even talk about how you got into this space, your journey of learning and development, as opposed to perhaps something that you've specifically learned in terms of features or functionality. There's a whole range of different topics and things that people are always interested in. And you might also want to speak about something in your workplace. So if you're training people on Salesforce or different functionality, that's a great place to start, because you want to be training and sharing your knowledge with others. Train up other people in your organization as a Salesforce in certain Salesforce admin skills, like reports and dashboards, for example. That's again another safe space to start, where you're not out in the big community and everybody's like looking at you. I think there's that fear that, well, everybody knows this already, surely, like we're all here and we're all Salesforce admins. What could I possibly share that's going to be unique? Well, it's not necessarily the case. There's going to be loads of people starting out. You can never stop learning from other people, and always have one or two takeaways, because I guarantee not everybody will have been through the same journey as you. And you're going to attract people to your speaker slot that still need to know all of this stuff. Like they might have been an admin for 6 months or a year, or they might be starting out on that journey. So, never think that everybody's going to know everything already. And the final one is maybe get involved in community-led podcasts or webinars. So again, get to know who the main Salesforce influencers are, who the MVPs are. They do podcasts and webinars too, and get involved in that. The third one is social media. So be active on one or more social media. People tend to choose a certain platform of choice where they feel most comfortable. There's obviously different ways of interacting. So whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, get involved in the one that feels most right for you. Twitter is definitely a hot place for Salesforce engagement. It seems to be the most popular, but it definitely also happens on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Change and have a look at your profile title and make sure it includes something related to Salesforce. So quite often people are putting in how many certifications they've got, Salesforce champion or Salesforce advocate or Salesforce enthusiast or whatever it is. Have a look what other profiles people choose and use something that suits you. So people then immediately know that you're involved in Salesforce or interested in it. As I've mentioned, follow MVPs. So you can, if you put into Google Salesforce MVPs, it'll probably bring up the page for you that on the Salesforce website, there is a page with all the MVPs on it and all of their Twitter handles. So go and follow all of those MVPs, start following them, seeing what they're talking about, give yourself ideas, respond to them, have those conversations. And also interact with Salesforce related handles. So I've put some on here like Partnerforce, Trailhead, Salesforce UK, Salesforce, Dreamforce. Follow them, interact with them, see what they're talking about and see what they're interested in. And that will give you, again, ideas for perhaps what you could write about or speak about. And get involved in the conversation, because the more they'll know about you, the more that they'll want to start to go, oh, who's this person and why are they really involved? Moving on to writing. So with writing, a great place to start is, create your own articles on LinkedIn and hashtag Salesforce in them. And so people can start to see them and do a connected at Salesforce in there as well. So produce your own articles and start to build that up. Submit those articles onto other blog contributions, so other blog sites. So Salesforce Ben again is a great one. Submit a blog to them or submit a blog to other key blog sites. Don't be afraid of that. See what their feedback is, see what they're interested in, and start to get that out there. If you're really passionate about writing, you can start your own blog, and it's great to see the number of people starting up their own blogs as well. It's something you've got to be committed to. You might want contributors to your blog. Start to really, build that up using a basic WordPress site, for example. Also, think about how you can submit a customer success story to salesforce.com or .org, depending on when you work for a corporate or a non-profit. Tell your story. If you've been part of a full implementation at an organization you work with and you've been involved in advancing that Salesforce system, tell your success story. Salesforce love to hear these success stories. You don't have to be part of a consultancy to tell that success story. And they might then get you tell their Trailblazer story. They might get you speaking on stage. Be forefront and tell the story that your organization has been through, and sing the praises, because great, that looks amazing on your CV if you get that, even as a blog, but it goes from there. They might help you do a Trailblazer video. They might help you speak at an event. I mean, that's what happened with the Supermums. I started writing blogs. We did our website. We talked about it. And then we were really privileged to get our own Trailblazer video, which was absolutely amazing. It's not something that I could have afforded to do ourselves. And then we got to speak at World Tour. That has been a customer success story for us. And that is amazing, but they want to hear your stories. Take your stories to them. And also tell that story to industry press, because Salesforce, want to be in the media as well. They want to get out there, like, how did you transform the automotive industry, or how did you transform the retail industry, or how did you, transform, how you work in the charity sector, whatever it is. Take it out to industry press as well. Don't just get it into the Salesforce press. Tell everybody about how Salesforce has transformed your organization. And then the final one is networking. So this is about getting out there and networking, either at events in person or even networking on, virtual groups. And that is about conversations. So as I say, there is some overlap, or it is simply just about finding somebody that, oh yeah, he looks really interesting. I want to connect with them. I want to talk to them, like ISVs or whatever it is, reach out and have conversations. And that's what I've been doing a lot of, is seeing who's commenting and, oh, who are they and what are they doing? And then I just reach out to them, message them. We have a chat, have a talk, see how we can help each other, build new business relationships. Or find out how they're doing things. Like, I love talking to other consultancies, right? I run a consultancy, and other consultancies, yes, they're my competitors, but I love actually going and chatting to them and having a coffee and find out how things are going for them, how they do things. Obviously, we don't give away all our trade secrets, no, but we have a conversation. It's really great networking with other people in your space, other companies in your space, in your industry, in your sector. Don't be afraid to network and just talk to them about how are you doing it. Because when I got involved with Salesforce back 10 years ago, I sat with Salesforce for a couple of years, not really knowing what it did for me or what it could do. And it was only through networking with another charity, and I saw how they use Salesforce, and they spent the time showing me how they used it. I was like, oh my God, now I get it. Okay, I can do all of this. And that started my whole journey with this product, because I suddenly realized what it could do for my organization and the benefits it could deliver to me. So network with other people and hear their stories, reach out to them on a one-to-one, talk to them, get inspired by that. And so you can do that through the Trailblazer and Power of Us groups, through Facebook groups, attending user groups, attending community events, attending Salesforce events, and through attending like online virtual webinars and events. There's loads of ways you can network, and find people that resonate with you. Keep your eye out and go, okay, they're interesting. Okay, well, I could have a chat to them to see what they're doing. And the more people you talk to, the more people that will know you. But what's interesting to think about is, what is it you want to be known for? So if you're introducing yourself at an event or through, social media one-to-one, how do you introduce yourself, and what is it you want people to say about you? You might be selling yourself as a consultant, or you might be talking about what you've done at your company, or it might be about a product that you want to specialize in. Think about what you want to tell people. What is your elevator pitch? What is it you want to be known for, particularly if you want people to be referred to you? And that's, we always think about that from a business point of view, particularly if you're running your own consultancy business, for example. You'll need to kind of share that knowledge. So they're the different ways. Now, if you do all of these different things, or you start doing bits of these things, you'll, going back to the benefits here, increase your self-esteem, accelerate your career, boost your credibility. It will make you feel good. You'll make new friends, and it will keep your knowledge current, because being out there talking, being at these events will keep you in the moment. You'll have to keep learning. You'll have to keep being current about stuff, and it puts that pressure on you to keep learning and developing yourself. And that's really important in this space, because you can get a little bit left behind, because things move so quick with Salesforce. They're constantly innovating with every new release, all these new products. So it kind of puts that little bit of pressure on you to kind of keep yourself current, and to research things, and to talk about it to other people, or to learn by being at these events. So it's a great way of making sure that you don't sort of get a bit complacent with that you put it in there. So there's lots of reasons why you should take away and do something from today in one of these areas that you feel is manageable, that aligns with your strengths, aligns with your passion, and start to work towards what it is that you want to do. So I hope that has been useful for you today and given you some good ideas. If you've got any questions, then please do put them in the question box and I can answer them. This how-to series is all a part of our recruitment element. So we really want to support you in helping you build your career. We want to work with you through our recruitment team and support you into new job opportunities. We want to make sure your CVs are fantastic, and we want to make sure that you present well really at interviews. And we just want to help people be a success in this industry, and to help you build your confidence. So that's why we're doing these. We're going to be launching our podcast series as well. So sign up on our website for that. The link will be coming out to you. And we'll continue to share great ways of raising your profile, building your career, inspiring you with case studies and different ways of working in the sector. And hopefully that's been useful. So thank you very much for listening over your lunch. As I say, if you have any questions, please do reach out afterwards if you need to. But thanks for joining today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care, everyone. Bye.